You've been hearing some shit recently about your truth, their truth, our truth, his truth, or Zer's truth, or whatever the fuck their pronouns are nowadays. But the point, they talk as if each individual person has their own particular kind of truth. It's their own little private domain. You've heard that, that way of speaking, haven't you? Yeah, I'm here to tell you that it's bullshit. Okay, I mean it's just flat out bullshit. There is no such fucking thing as your truth or my truth or their truth or some shit like that. There's truth. It's objective. There are different points of view. And these points of view might be radically different, but the truth is always the same. The truth doesn't change. Now, why am I throwing like a little fucking hissy fit over this way of referring to the truth? Very simple. It's the way for bullshitters to get away with their bullshit. That's what's going on. See, when people say that it's their truth, okay, it's my truth. That's why I think it's like this. It's my truth. And your truth might be different, but my truth says that it's like that. It's a way for a bullshitter to convince other people, to gaslight other people, that the truth is as they see it, even though objectively it's not like that at all. Now, you got to understand where this shit comes from, okay? This shit comes from the 60s. In the 60s, relative truth came into vogue. The notion that each individual person had their own truth. I mean, Rashomon was a big fucking hit at the time for a reason. Yeah, if you don't know what Rashomon is, look it up. Anyway, the point is, see, these people, these fucking hippy-dippy fucksticks, these draft-dodging losers, because that's what they were, well, these baby boom fucks came up with this notion that there's relative truth, that there is no such thing as an objective truth, an objective standard that we all have to, live with and deal with. No. They came up with this notion of relative truth. And see, this notion of relative truth had a lot of advantages to it. Yeah, it allowed them to get away with all kinds of bullshit, basically. Yeah. Draft dodging, alternative lifestyles and shit like that, all kinds of decadences and degeneracies. Yeah, you could explain it all away by saying, the truth is relative, and for me, this is okay, so let's do this. Let's do this horrifying thing that will cause all kinds of damage to our society. And, you're just going to have to sit there and take it as I do this atrocious thing. Sexual decadences, behaviors that are just beyond the pale, including draft dodging. Let's never forget that. These fucking baby boomers, man, they were all draft dodgers, and that's a fact. Okay? They weren't against the Vietnam War on principle. They just didn't want to get shot at because they were fucking chicken shit cowards. Okay? Well, see, these fuckers, they came up with this notion. And what happened to the society at that time? Well, the society at that time in the 1960s, both in the United States and also in the Western European countries, they were rich. They were sitting pretty. They were very rich. They're very rich and very comfortable. And so in a rich society, you could afford to have young people, children, fucking idiots, claim that truth is relative. You could afford to cater to them, to indulge them. Yeah, that's what happens in rich societies. See, in a rich society, you can afford to cater to people who come up with all kinds of stupid ideas. Because, see, in a rich society, you just don't want to be bothered. I mean, look at any rich fat fuck. Well, look at myself, for instance. I mean, I don't want to be bothered with shit, whatsoever it is. And so anybody says any shit, I'm just like, fine, have it your way. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to put up with any kind of a fight because my comfort is not worth it. And see, that's what happened collectively in the 1960s to this notion of relative truth. But see, the great problem is that today, we're not rich. Today, we're at the doors of a Great Depression. Quite frankly, economic historians are going to look back at this time that we're living in right now, and they are going to say, oh yeah, they were in a Great Depression. We are in a Great Depression. We do not have the resources to maintain the lifestyle that we used to have as a society. It's over, 2019, all that shit, all that fun times that we had, it ain't coming back. Inflation is rearing its ugly head. It's going to decimate people, especially poor people. Rich fucks, they know how to get around inflation, but the poor people, they don't know. And see, ultimately, the current administration and the Federal Reserve Board, as well as the European Central Bank and the European governments, they're figuring out the way to get out of this debt hole that the Western economies find themselves in is to inflate away the debt. Let the currency crash, in a controlled crash. But essentially, and who's going to wind up paying for this shit? Poor people, middle class people, even upper middle class people. And you think that you're upper middle class and you're educated and you went to fucking Ivy League schools and shit like that, and you're not going to be affected by this shitstorm that's coming your way? Fuck you, man. It's coming. It's coming for you. But the point. See, our current society, we are going down the tubes. And now is not the time to be indulging in this kind of your truth, my truth, their truth, our truth. No. Now is the time to be looking at the facts squarely, looking at them in the face, and understanding what's coming our way. And see, the problem is that there's a large segment of the population, I would venture to argue close to 50%, that refuses to accept reality, that insists in their truth. Yeah, that's a recipe to get you killed. Yeah, you're walking down the street, you see an alligator. The alligator's hungry, and it's coming for you. Yeah, and it's little feet, little alligator feet that look so funny, but it's fucking terrifying when an alligator actually comes, hunting for you, right? And you see that fucking alligator going after you, right? And what are you going to say? Oh, well, the alligator in my truth doesn't exist, so I'm going to be fine. Fuck you, huh? Your truth, my truth, their truth, our truth, doesn't matter which truth you adhere to. That fucking alligator is going to eat you, huh? And that's what's going on right now. See, the shit storm that's coming, that is landing, that is happening, huh? It ain't going away, and you can't explain it away. You can't pretend it's not there. But there's a large segment of the population that is pretending, and this large segment of the population, the worse things get, the more hysterical they will become. Yeah, because that's human nature. As simple as that. It's not complicated, man. I mean, people, they don't fucking change, okay? That's why you should read fucking literature, huh? Read literature, read the classics, read the great 19th century novelists, Dickens, Balzac, Tolstoy, Dostoevsky, all those big guys, they talk about people. And why should you read them? Because people don't fucking change. And this kind of shitstorm that's coming our way, and this large segment of the population that refuses to accept the shit show that's coming, right? This has happened before. And what's going to happen is that as things get worse, these people are going to become more hysterical, more totalitarian, more censorious. They're going to go after you, after me, after anybody who points out what's actually going on. See, the more accurate your description of objective reality is, the more they're going to come after you. Why? Because they want to avoid reality. They want to avoid the misery that is the objective reality in the Western democracies. And see, this shit has happened before. It'll happen again in a century or two, or maybe sooner, who knows. But right now it's happening, okay? And these censorious, totalitarian people, unfortunately, they have their hands on the levers of power. So understand what's going on. Understand that the totalitarianism that's coming our way, the censorship, the persecution of people who tell the truth, the objective truth. See, it's not personal. Let's put it that way. They're not like, they don't hate this person that they're persecuting. No. What's going on is that they're persecuting people and using totalitarian means and censoring them out of panic. Out of panic that this notion that subjective truth is not accurate, and that the reality that we are living in now as a society in the Western democracies is shit. See, the Russians and the Chinese are allied. They're like, peas and carrots. They are buddies, yeah. And they are realizing they don't need the West. Now, why should that matter? Well, because, see, Russia and China combined are far more powerful than the United States is. The United States is decaying, okay? It's losing its grip on everything. And you can see it when you look at foreign policy, and you can see it in domestic policy, and you can see it insofar as how the cities in America are decaying and collapsing into violence, into rioting, and so forth. The shit is going down, huh? And the other major powers around the world recognize it. The Russians and the Chinese, do you know what they are doing with the United States? They are managing this decaying empire. And they are very careful not to provoke it, at the same time showing its strength, but not provoking it. See? That's what's been going on over the past 6 months to a year. I mean, I've been noticing a lot of shit going on, and I'll do it in some other video, but the point is, see, the point I wanted to leave you with, see, the rest of the world realizes what's going on in the United States, in Canada, in the United Kingdom, in Germany. See, the German establishment, some of the smarter people there, they're realizing that they have to break away from the West and ally themselves with Russia and China and this emerging pole, if you will. See, but in France, in the United Kingdom especially, and forget about, you know, Canada, the United States, it's all going down. And you got to understand, and these people who are totalitarians, who insist on the mask, who insist on getting the jab, irrespective of the fact that it's basically an experimental drug, who insist on shutting you up and not allowing you to say certain things that are actually true, all of this is because of panic. And it comes because a large segment of the population in the West has been fooled into believing that they can just make up reality. And reality is coming for them. Reality is an alligator. And it's chasing after them. And pretty soon it's gonna fucking bite. Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, please check out my Patreon. Link is in the description below. On Patreon, I do an extra video every Wednesday, and I also do a Sunday call-in show called The Weekly Webinar. So please check it out. Thanks very much, and I will catch you next time.